Good morning, LL Nation. What's good? Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am your guy, Shaun Davis at SD2 Mike, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We are brought to you and featuring Onora Whisky. Go to OnoraWhisky.com for that premium American whiskey. It's only OnoraWhisky.com. Today, Marcus Freeman, coaching hires, coaching fires, and swinging big. And we like to hear that. And also, still on the recruiting trail for the class of 2022. You know, the 2023 is heating up, but we forget the second signing day is coming up on that first Wednesday in February. And Marcus Freeman is trying to make way. We're still trying to add to the roster. We'll talk about that. But just in case you missed, and another thing last night. Malik had a conversation with former Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams. We shared his thoughts not only about not coming to Notre Dame, but also a little beef he has with Notre Dame going back to his original recruitment out of Gonzaga High School in the DC area. His beef was really with the former staff and how they handle things. Said there's no way. I think his exact words were, "I was never a Kelly guy and never an ND guy." Read between the lines, they didn't want a guy like me.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with his academics. Because if I'm not mistaken, he was like a 3.9 GPA student.
Smart kid.
At Gonzaga High School. So all the Notre Dame fans that were in the chat trying to get defensive about Notre Dame we don't care. We really don't care that he didn't transfer.
Yeah, that's not even the issue. We would have loved it.
We don't care.
It would have solved a lot of issues.
Yeah. We don't care.
No.
The issue is they didn't recruit him.
Yeah.
Like, it's deeper. It's bigger. This is bigger than Nino Brown.
Bigger.
This is bigger than Nino Brown. Like, transfer, cool. But they didn't recruit you. They just threw an offer out there to just let people know, well, we offered them. And this is why we're in the state we're in right now. And these are the hurdles in recruiting that the current staff is going to have to overcome moving forward, especially with the quarterback room and the wide receiver room. Ecstatic to hear on yesterday reports of Marcus Freeman taking the lead in recruiting wide receiver from IMG Academy from Chicago, Carnell Tate, and talking to him every day. Yeah. That's what a head coach is supposed to do.
Get your hands on.
That's what a head coach is supposed to do.
Don't leave it up. Don't leave it up to nobody else but the head coach.
Exactly. So Notre Dame fans, I'm sorry that we had to suffer through what we suffered through. Someone telling us that our product wasn't good enough, because that's what we've been hearing. And the truth of the matter is, they just didn't want to put in the requisite work.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is.
Lazy recruiting.
And now we have somebody that's willing to put in the requisite work to go out there and get the top elite talent at important positions and make things happen. That's all we need.
That's all it's going to come down to, because in making the gap and the jump, we've talked about different options. We talked about a superstar quarterback.
Yeah.
We've talked about recruiting the right linebackers, getting on these receivers hands on. I mean, there's many different pieces that we've tried to address. Would the transfer portal help for next year? 100%, but it's got to be the right guy.
Absolutely.
Do we take another chance on a guy like Jack Cohn style of quarterback to assist Tyler? I think that is only hindering Tyler if we're not going to commit full way. So if we're going to bring in Caleb, I would expect us to rock with Caleb and have Tyler get another year of experience. If we get another Jack Cohn style, I think it hurts Tyler's development even more because this is not the time to be splitting time with a guy that's supposed to be ready. Because now I saw somebody said about Keaton Slovis, they was calling him to be a veteran backup. I'm like, this is not the NFL. Keaton Slovis is not going to go from a potential pick to a backup to a guy that hasn't played a full season himself. Like, no way. So we got to get realistic on this recruiting end. And man, I mean, I think Marcus Freeman just being hands-on with one thing at a time is leaps and bounds ahead of what we had before, because I don't remember a time where Brian Kelly made news on being hands-on where he just became that lead recruiter on a kid. Like, not at all.
And on top of that, not only is he the lead recruiter, but as I said before, there's news that he's still going after 2022 recruits that's still out there that Notre Dame was behind on. He's swinging big.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I have to lose? Like Hero Canoe is supposedly down at the All-American Bowl, getting ready to commit to Ohio State. He's like, what can we lose? Talk to him.
Yeah. Just get in his ear. That's all we want. We want to get in his ear. Just get in his ear.
And that's what you have to do. That's what the big elite programs do. Alabama is talking to recruits in the middle of the season that they want to target.
Talking to our recruits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I
mean, either you want to play the big boy game, or go sit at the kiddie table. And the former regime had us at the kiddie table. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah, letting guys walk away from us by not even trying. It's just not acceptable to get one game better. We have to be on everything. We have to be on everything. We're not going into the season to compete, to put our season on the game on the line and everything directed on a Wisconsin or a Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We're recruiting to beat Bama, Georgia, Ohio State.
Thank you.
And a potentially Clemson. So that's a full-time recruitment job because they're full-time recruiting.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the thing that I think, as I looked at the comments, like I said, guys, we respond. We appreciate everybody. The likes, the dislikes, everyone that gives us your time any time of day that you listen to the Lucky Lefty podcast. And we try to reply to all the comments.
That's right.
The comments last night were talking about, does he have enough transfer credits? And it's like, you know what? Anytime somebody says they don't want to come to Notre Dame, we automatically get defensive.
Yeah, we get defensive.
We start talking about the academics. It's like, don't do that. Don't. Because the show last night wasn't even about the fact that he didn't want to come. We were just passing along the information.
Yeah, we were trying to be the lead on the info just to let our hopes not get up.
The big issue for us was what he said after that. Because
that was his hard part.
That gives you a big picture of what the perceived notion about Notre Dame out there is in recruiting with
from
these
guys
teams
that we want to get.
Yes, so 4 quarterbacks.
Not just from any old regular recruit. These are guys that could make a difference on our team.
Absolutely.
Right now.
And that is the issue. These are the things that Tommy Rees and Marcus Freeman are going to have to overcome. They're going to have to overcome it. And it's unfortunate. But at least they want to put in the work, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is try. You don't know what recruit may like the way you recruit them. I think you have to go in with the mindset that none of these kids want to go here. And you have to put on your best recruiter hat, eat them potato salad and drink the Kool-Aid if you got to. That's really what you're getting paid to do. You're really getting paid to recruit, and coaching is secondary because it's the easier part that a university is looking for. If you can recruit really well, you can hang around a program a long time.
So what about, let's get to some information. Someone that Aaron Kearney, Director of Recruiting. You know him very well.
I think he's a good guy, man.
Yeah. He, I feel like he's a good guy, but he got caught up and being part of the former regime.
Yeah.
And that just, Marcus Freeman had to take a look at it and say, yo,
it's just not good enough, man.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
Man, you got to, I think it's just the strategies. At a time like this, you really want to get the grains of what your foundation is. I think this is an important year for Marcus Freeman, more so than 5 years down the road, because this is where everything starts.
Yeah.
So he's probably trying to bring all his homeboys and the people that he can really, really trust. So it's not a really personal thing, but it's much more of a comfortability for him. I mean, Coach Kelly always kept BP really close, Beth Rex really close, and Michael Birch really close. And, you always see him around. So I think he's just buffering his presidential cabinet.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Be sure that thing is ready to rock and roll. So when recruiting rolls around, the whole ship is together.
And then on top of that, not only Aaron Kearney leaving, but then we have Harry Heastand. The contract is final. The announcement should come sometime in the next few days.
The ink is dry.
The ink is dry. So, man, that's something that
we just locked in 8 games that are absolute dubs. Locking in 8 guaranteed games right there.
Yeah, and then yesterday, the rumors had started since he visited, doing bowl preparation. And yesterday, James Laurinaitis, Marcus Freeman's best friend, made the announcement on his radio show.
Just go ahead. You're gonna go back to the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, and you're gonna be, working under Rip, and in a matter of a season, you'll become an expert rope handler, much like Jimmy was. So you'll have that to look forward to, which is nice. Right. You've always wanted to go west, and now you will. You are going west, my friend, but not quite that far.
That's true. I will be the reports, which I don't know how they got out, but they got out. The reports are true. I am going up to South Bend with Marcus. You know this because obviously of our friendship outside of the show. I've been poking around with the idea of coaching for a couple of years now, and had tried a couple of times here locally, and for whatever reason, the situation just didn't come about. And so, with your best friend getting the head coaching job, it's a pretty unique situation, and a pretty awesome opportunity to go up there and get started in the profession, and and get going. So it's abrupt. It's one of those things. When I went and visited, it's a conversation, and then it's hey, when do you need me to start? And January 10th. Oh, okay. Really quick, yes, sir. And so a lot of moving parts, but unfortunately, this is the last week of Bishop Laurinaitis, which makes me sad because I have truly enjoyed every single morning on this show with you. And doing the show, man, it's been fun, and you've carried me on your back. That's why you have back problems right now.
No, not true.
That's why you need a heating pad and a stem unit to get you through 3 hours of radio.
That's
but
I can do it.
It truly has been a blast, man.
So that's James Laurinaitis on Bishop and Laurinaitis 97.1 in Columbus, and making the announcement, talking about he doesn't know how the rumors got out. Come on, man, dude. You taking pictures at Notre Dame practices 2 weeks ago. That's how the buzz got started.
Absolutely. Right. He knows. Yeah. I think he's just excited. Like you said, man, it was pretty abrupt because he said when your best friend gets a job, you got a job too. That's what he should have said. And I think that'll be good too, just for him to be a relationship builder in his first year. I think him just learning how to be a coach, which is way different than being a player, which I think they've had a lot of talks about. And for him, it's probably just being connected to those linebackers, especially the young ones. They're all kind of learning together in a sense, which would be good for the retention piece that we talk about in that now that we're faced with the transfer portal. I think that recruiting piece, that since that James Laurinaitis is the best friend of Marcus Freeman, those kids, when Marcus is too busy, can always relate to James and just be like, what's coach thinking, man? He tripping. What should I do? Those type of things, which are crucial because that's not a job title. That's not like a football therapist job title. That's more of that's just something that happens when you have great relationships with your players. and you got two best friends that played together at a high level, coaching together at a high level. I think that's just going to give great returns and make the program more relatable. I think we were a very antique type of perspective on our program. We're super traditional, where kids couldn't feel like they could fit in that new flavor, that new swag kids is carrying these days.
Yeah.
But I think a great move with the head coach hiring his best friend, who are both passionate football players that are still young guys that want to get the ball rolling right now. I think it is a great way to break down that huge wall, it appears to be, that stands between us and the land of 5 stars.
And the mentality. Let's talk about that for a second. There's a mentality that goes into building, and you can speak to this as well, bro, because I don't know if most of our listeners know, at one time you were committed to Ohio State and Jim Tressel. So you were around the program and you knew the mentality of that program, championship program. Heck, they beat one of the greatest college football teams of all time in a national championship game. Just bringing that mentality from Ohio State to Notre Dame and infusing it into what I call the best product in college football. What's the impact of that? Because there's a different mentality coming from Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia when it comes to football.
Yeah, I just think it's just I don't know. I do think that Coach Kelly's aura played a huge part in just the perception of what kids are seeing from other schools that are very much highlighted. Like, we have our own TV channel on NBC. That's an even old channel if you think about it. Like, NBC is old. Ain't nobody.
That's an old TV.
Yeah. So even that is like, man, my grandparents watched that, so I don't care about playing on that every Saturday, So I think what Bama does and what Georgia does so well is that they're a fun culture. It's just Georgia specifically, they kind of just popped up out of nowhere. And I think just the feel from that and the SEC feel, and the bag is down there, it just became a populace for a win right now culture. All these places that we're talking about, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, are win now cultures. Whatever it takes, we don't care if we got to have a room full of 5-star receivers or 5-star quarterbacks. We're going to make it work. But we're all about winning now. And so for us to be a win now culture, we got to have stuff like James Laurinaitis join the staff. We got to have stuff like Tommy being a young offensive coordinator, but also Tommy having an edge to him as well. I think we should throw in the fact that he got arrested. So if we ever had a Baker Mayfield on our hands, we would know how to relate and be like, yeah, man, I went through it too. Whatever the recruiting pitch you need to solidify the culture, I think all it takes is a couple classes. And once you see the wins come after that, and then those kids that visit through the year and you're keeping it up and keep the momentum going, and they're seeing the competitiveness at practice and off the field and all that stuff, it's what makes it fun. But it is a gap between not only the talent of 5 stars, but the perspectives that, Caleb wasn't even giving us a chance. We talk about a team that played on New Year's 6 consecutive years in a row.
He was coming off of the Alamo Bowl, bro.
He was coming off of the Charmin Bowl, the toilet bowl or something. And it wasn't ringing to him like, oh, this is a top 5 team, arguably every year the last 5-6 years. And I don't even want to go. And they got the best situation out of the top 5.
Yeah.
We got a way better situation in Alabama, better situation in Ohio State, better situation in Clemson, better situation in Georgia. Well, about the same as Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm sure the way they recruit, they'll take Caleb in a heartbeat. They don't care nothing about who they got. They won't care nothing about who they got over there. So other than Georgia, we the best top program with all the things that you would be looking for, and he wasn't even considering it. So it just shows that there's a huge gap between Georgia, Alabama, and Clemson, because even if you didn't want to go, if the opportunity was there, kids are like, oh, it's going to be hard to pass up on a Georgia or a Bama or a Ohio State. So it just makes it tough.
Lucky Lefty podcast, Shaun Davis, Malik, Zaire, discussing right now the hirings and firings and what's going on with the coaching staff. We talked about Aaron Kearney. We talked about James Laurinaitis, and Malik was just telling us about the mentality that needs to be infused into the program. Because it's an excuse. Can we just say it's an excuse at this point that we've been fed by the former, right? It just have to be Notre Dame kids. They have to be the right fit. And we heard Marcus Freeman talk about fit. But, kids are smart now, dude.
They are.
Just pointed out the 2 inside linebackers for Georgia, right? Because most people say immediately, they play for Georgia. They don't go to class. Both of them are engineer majors. And both of them sport like a 3.7, 3.9. And they can play their tails off and they're going to the league.
Yeah.
So the days of Prop 48 and all of that, that's over. Kids are smart. They have access.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an old narrative if you think about it. That's damn near like saying black guys can't play a QB position. That's how old that.
That's old too. That's old.
Yeah, that's
too.
old.
Yeah,
let's go.
The former didn't want to put in the work. That's it.
That's it.
They didn't. And now, we have an opportunity. And we're taking big swings. We have a staff that wants to take big swings and go after the players, the big-time players, and the big-time coaches. And we'll get to that. Here's a question right now. Let's get to this first super chat. Beachville, we appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Great show as always, guys. ND class of 78 wants to know who you hear will be the next defensive coordinator. It's a long list. Of course, we were talking about John Heacock. We were interested in watching that matchup, Iowa State against Clemson, and see how he fared as a defensive coordinator. The DC from Iowa State, Auburn's defensive coordinator, former head coach at Vanderbilt, Derek Mason.
I like Derek Mason.
Strong candidate.
I like Derek Mason, man.
Great recruiter.
They did him wrong at Vanderbilt, man.
Another great recruiter.
Program to win.
Tennessee DC, Tim Banks is another great recruiter.
Yeah, I like
Tim Love to see him. Chris Ash. He's with he had taken a job with Jacksonville under Urban Meyer. So more than likely he'll be looking to move. And a surprise is Al Golden, former Temple head coach. And now he's the linebacker coach with the Cincinnati Bengals. So once again,
can we get Jimmy Johnson or one of them? Give me something like Hall of Fame,
Once again, I do. You know the name we didn't hear?
Elston.
Mike Elston and Mike Tressel. I told you Mike Tressel killed his opportunity.
Yeah. That was done.
That scheme he came into the game against Alabama with, nah, that's not going to get the job done. But all 5 of those names, and matter of fact, I will put Heacock at the bottom of the list. Derek Mason and Tim Banks would be 1-2 for me.
Yeah,
1-2.
It should be a narrowing of that because Derek Mason would be a great fit.
Yeah,
to what you building because he's young but a little on the older of the young age side. I think he's older than Marcus, but I really believe that when it comes to wanting to play for a coach, Derek Mason fits the bill for what we're building. And I think he identifies talent really well and putting guys in the right spot. So, for instance, with all the athletes we're converting, switching, and doing the different things with, I really think he'll have a good eye in helping Marcus Freeman identifying which athletes can play at what spots. Because even though we'll have a bunch of guys that are very talented, you still really got to put those guys in positions where they can get the most out of their talent instead of just having them run around because they're talented.
Oh, man. I'll say this, and the only reason remember we did a show, and you guys can go check it out. It's archived. We did a show where we talked about Notre Dame modeling the program after the top 4 programs. and what makes those programs special. And we talked about Alabama, and we talked about how Nick Saban, before the players, made the staff he built the foundation of the program. Like the coaching staff is the foundation of the Alabama program, because
100%.
that is what draws the players and produces the players and develops the players. And he always has NFL representation on
Just
his
hanging around. Just hanging around.
So that's why Al Golden and Chris Ash are both very intriguing. Even though Chris Ash has only been there for a year. Al Golden was in the NFL before he went to Temple. He was around the Miami Hurricane program, and he's head coach at Temple. So Al Golden is very intriguing. I know some dust on his name. People might not remember how good of a coach he is because he wasn't as successful as a head coach once he got the big-time job. But Al Golden can recruit.
Yeah.
Al Golden is a relentless recruiter.
And right now, I'll take a good recruit over a great coach per se, because with the schedule that we have, it's really about the talent. We've been able to prove year after year we can really roll out some teams off of just talent, and it take care of itself. And the coaching really is put more towards the situational football.
Yeah.
Where you take a timeout here, or you looking to go in the half, or whatever the case is. So right now, talent and securing talent with retention is more important than just getting the guy that can just give you the secrets, esoteric knowledge of the game, you know.
See, another super chat from Matt, 2011 GT. We appreciate you, my man. Is Tommy calling Dante every day? Is Freeman calling Dante every day? Hey, Marcus Freeman is relentless. He's proven that. Whoever's at the top of the recruiting list, Marcus Freeman is calling him every day.
But the thing, too, is that it's important for Tommy to be very involved. You know, when you hear stories like Caleb Williams, where his family is looking for a development phase and looking for learning more about the game and getting ready to think about the next level, Tommy's got to be heavily involved in that recruiting, because he got to do some explaining. How is he going to make the fits? What's he going to break down? If he's not as involved because he's so focused on the structure of what he wants to put out there on the first game, it's just hard. And then when you're not calling Caleb Williams, you got me thinking that you in the lab with Tyler Buckner right now drawing up stuff. So yeah, you got recruiting has to be a big thing. I think for Tommy, it's hard because you don't have a quarterback coach to go do that for you, that can necessarily be there with you attentively as much as a quarterback needs to get ready. So I think if he had a quarterback coach or assistant, I think recruiting quarterbacks would be easier for us than getting guys that, like, I'm sure Angeli didn't take no time to think if he wanted to go here or not. You know what I mean? I thought we probably called him and we probably made his whole year. You know what I mean? So I think that'll help us in recruiting harder guys to secure.
Let's see. Let's go to let's break the monotony of the coach talk and let's talk about some players. Houston Griffith decided to come back. Braden Lindsey decided to come back. Josh Lugg decided to come back, which is shocking to me because he was our starting right tackle. And honestly, I'm good with Blake at right tackle. So maybe Josh can go inside.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the Harry Hested effect, though.
Yeah, he probably wants to come back a year.
I see what you did. I'm not about to miss out on that right. Coaching for a year. Absolutely not.
Right. Which honestly, that gives more depth. I always love depth because Blake Fisher, you know, he got injured during his first season. To have Josh Lugg back just in case Blake can't make it through a season at right tackle.
We got depth.
We got depth at right tackle, and we still have some youngsters coming in, so I'm all for the depth. I didn't understand it initially, but after a second thought, I'm like, okay, I can rock with the depth.
Because now we can't have no excuses for being an average line or a young line because we got depth, we got experience.
Yeah.
The younger guys is pushing the older guys. We even got some of that going on. So I'm excited that Harry comes back to a stable. It's not like he's come back to something empty where he's got to build from scratch.
And on top of that, Isaiah Foskey is going to make an announcement on the 8th.
I think he's coming back because if you waiting that long,
fans, yeah, we're gonna. That's what we do. That's what we do here. Like we step out on the limb while everybody wants to wait.
He's step out on the limb
as a podcast, and Isaiah Foskey's coming back.
Look, he's got to because first of all, look how fast it took Kevin Austin to put it out. He ain't make no announcement about. Yeah, I'm going to make an announcement. No. I think Foskey wants to give that throwback 2012, 2011 LeBron.
Yeah.
Coming back home, going to Miami. So it is good. Now I did think it was interesting reading into the Caleb thing, how you had Joe Klatt talking about it's free agent season every year now for some of these top players.
It really is.
And that even though Caleb Williams won and it looked like he would be staying, he a free agent, go get that money, you know what I mean? And if Texas is doing stuff like giving you $50,000 just to be on a Texas lineman,
yeah,
I'm sure Caleb's value is even higher now that he's able to play for Oklahoma. And it's crazy because he had no backup. So it wasn't like it's about playing time. He's going for, I think, which is the new age of what we're stepping into with the NIL. And that's college football free agency. Yeah. I think we should just change the name from the transfer portal and call it what it is, because now it's not even about playing time. It can't be, because who's replacing Caleb?
It's crazy. This
is about getting the bag. And
Caleb offered, we lost him to the transfer portal yesterday. That was really on the low. Who is? Caleb offered.
Oh, yeah.
We lost him to the transfer portal yesterday. Michigan lost 2 kids, a linebacker and a defensive back that Notre Dame might want to look at, to the transfer portal yesterday.
One of them went to Arizona already.
Yeah, one of them already. The linebacker committed to Arizona. And
which means that teams are talking to players through the season.
Darian Green-Warren, he's still open. And heck, John Reese Plumlee, the quarterback from Mississippi, jumped in this morning. He's a 4-star. So, like I said, let's let it play out. Let it play out. I see someone in the chat talking about AJ Henning, possibly not being happy with the amount of touches he's getting at Michigan. Let it play out. Like, Notre Dame lost out to AJ Henning, and if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm getting dirty. I'm like, man, they don't appreciate you. They don't appreciate you. You decided to go there over Notre Dame originally. Yeah. We'll appreciate you. We just
hit them with the. Didn't they forget your birthday, man?
Yeah, all of that.
That's messed
all
up.
Of that. Close to the home, all of that. I'm telling them everything.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it's about. But we also have to have a little package over here too. If we're gonna get dirty, let's get dirty. Let's slide a couple duffels and stuff to get kids that are worthy of a switch, because that's what teams are doing to us.
Absolutely. Like I said, if you're gonna be at the big boy table, hey, we can play these games too.
Because that's the true difference. They play different games than guys that are, just constantly just trying to get 500.
And Utah lost a defensive end, Xavier Carlton, 4-star. Look, everybody's losing except I have yet to see a transfer from Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm honest. I'm looking at the
kids like, look, I know I may not play, but I want that ring, dog.
Well, they have to wait until after the season as well.
Yeah.
So you probably won't see transfers from Alabama or Georgia until after the national championship game. But
guys that are leaving Alabama are guys that are told to leave. Guys ain't just
rather than
I mean, I think Jameson might have been a little different just because that room at the time. I mean, he was there when Jerry Jeudy was there, Devontae Smith.
You talking about when he was at Ohio State? You talking about Jameson, right?
Yeah.
No, you mean Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and
no, I'm saying the room before he was leaving.
He was at Ohio State.
Oh, I'm sorry. Back. Yeah, I had it mixed up.
Yeah.
Yes. Both receiver rooms are deadly.
Right.
Yes. But I understand. You at Ohio State at that time where they had younger guys because isn't he older than Garrett Wilson?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they came in, they was playing. Garrett Wilson came in playing.
Right.
So he probably felt the way.
So he felt. Basically, and Jigba Smith came in a year after.
Yeah.
He saw him on the field and was like, "I'm not getting no touches.
Let me get out of here, man.
I'm not getting any touches. Let me go."
Because Ohio State's telling those guys, you playing first day.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we got, you getting out there first day. That's what they told Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
He said, "This your bowl game.
Right.
This time to step up."
Right. So it's crazy, man. But I like the Lug move to give us depth along the offensive line. Foskey will be back. Houston Griffith coming back. Maybe he wants a full off season because remember, he was recruited back. He was in the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Freeman got the job, and Freeman recruited him back.
Yeah, so he got a plan for it
to come back to the team. So it will make no sense for either to part ways. Really, it just wouldn't.
Like, okay. I just left. I was just about to leave.
DJ Brown leaves. You have the two youngsters on the back end, Xavier Watts. They came over in the middle of the season. Now they both get to train at the position in the offseason. They get to lift specifically for that position instead of lifting for other positions. And training for
Bayless, man. I got all trust in Bayless gonna get them boys wherever they need to be in the weight room.
Absolutely. Get them right. Get their minds right. Get their mental right. And as our boy would say, y'all get your mentals. And they're gonna be ready to rock and roll for the spring. I believe that. So in essence, Notre Dame really hasn't had a defection that really makes me say, dang. And I really don't see anybody transferring that's going to make me say.
Yeah, I think we got a bunch right now because it's getting so big in the transfer portal. Yeah. It's a bunch of guys on the line. It's like you could be good, but I can see why it didn't work out. A bunch of Jack Cones out there. Yeah. With the right fit, they can be really good, but none of them are like Caleb Williams right now where it's without a question. We got to get him on the phone, get him to campus.
Yeah.
Well, I do like Northwestern's guy that we talked about yesterday. I think because of the fit and because Pat Fitzgerald's been doing an amazing job putting out great players. I mean, 2 first-rounders last year out of nowhere. Nobody expected that. And just how they are big. I mean, I remember playing Northwestern. They secondary is looking like linebackers.
Right.
They were huge.
Right.
That was one of the biggest teams we played next to BYU was Northwestern at that time.
Right. But this is a big weekend because Brandon Joseph, the transfer from Northwestern, should be on campus this week.
And that's exactly the fit that we would need.
You don't even have to fly him in. You can just send a nice little SUV up to 94.
That's right.
Pick him
all
up,
black,
drive him down. 2 days, back up to Evanston, or he can stay in start class. It's as simple as that.
Put you on the hotel on campus, the little Morris Inn,
right.
And he's a Northwestern guy. He's a smart guy, so he's used to seeing, that type of stuff. So, if anything, that would be a great transfer. And talk to Ben Skoranek. Ben will tell you he in the league right now because of the transfer. So
yeah, he would know. He could talk to him like, "Hey, I know what it's
just a year ago." Yeah.
Yep. And an agency said an Uber X.
That's a
Uber X.
Good little write-off for the recruiting office.
Or even that luxury. Absolutely. No problem. Bring them
Yeah,
right
we
down.
can afford that luxury now. Come on,
Absolutely.
now. You that close.
Absolutely. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Shaun Davis, my guy Malik Zaire. Wide receiver coach. Saw a lot of things in the chat. The two names we've heard is Alabama's wide receiver coach, which is, man, a huge swing.
Yeah.
Holman Wiggins. And
That's
we already know.
attention. That's getting attention.
Man.
Because it's at Alabama. It's just Alabama's guy.
He's interested. And then Jamarcus Shepard, who holds the same position at Purdue. And what you've seen at Purdue
is inconsistency.
No.
You don't think so?
No, from the wide receivers?
Oh. I thought you meant from a team. No, wide receivers been great. Rondell Moore,
Bell.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Both of those? Heck yeah.
Because he'll be great developing our slot receivers.
Right.
The Chris Finks, the Lindsays of the world, those type of guys, which is Avery Davis, which will be great for Tyler Buckner to throw less further throws on the outside, focus more on the inside. So
yeah, so those are the two big names. Now, of course, to pull Holman from Alabama would be a coup.
That'll change recruiting for us, though, too.
And pulling him is all about relationships. So it might be tied to all of these guys know each other.
Yeah.
Are cool with each other. Like Freeman knows, Mason. They're all defensive coordinators. They're all brothers.
And it ain't that many of them.
And they're all recruit, right? And there ain't many of them, and they all recruit against each other. So now this is where having
on the same team.
Absolutely. This is when having relationships is a positive. It's a positive.
Yeah.
So now, you hit Derek Mason up like, bro. And then I
done hit the real jackpot over here.
Right. Who should I go holler at for wide receiver coach? Oh, man. Hit up Holman.
I'll have my guy.
Like, man, you think he'll want to leave Alabama? Heck yeah. Hit him up.
For us?
Yeah. And that's,
how it happens.
And the fact that he's interested.
Because think about this. Where is Jeff Quinn getting hired if it wasn't by Brian Kelly?
If it wasn't for Brian Kelly. Matter of fact,
where is he getting hired at?
After we saw what we saw from a game plan offensively from Cincinnati, I don't know what in the world make Brian Kelly thinks he should bring Denbrock down.
Oh, yeah. Like he bringing his own boys. Absolutely not.
Horrible game plan.
He didn't get enough from the other 6 years he was the guy. You didn't get enough. How many non-scoring games do you need?
Dude. And he goes against Mike Denbrock and brings him down to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, he ain't had nobody else. That's all that's saying. He ain't had nobody else. He couldn't get no young guy. If Joe Brady not doing nothing, he need to recruit Joe Brady too. just throwing that out there.
Joe Brady's going to be out. If the news is correct and the way everything went down, he left on a Sunday. Just straight up, just bounce. But from what I've heard, Joe Brady's going to take a step back for a year and kind of just
come be an analyst for us. Come David Cutcliffe your way over at Notre Dame, man. We got room for all. Just take a nicer. What's a better step away than South Bend? Ain't nobody gonna find you out there, man. You just go hang around the office.
Yeah.
Drop in on Tommy and give some good plays that you ran with Joe Burrow to him. Hey, all hands in. They ain't got to be on staff. They can be around the city. He ain't got to be on campus.
You know what? Somebody just said something in the chat, and I want to bring it up. Going back to sending a ride up for Brandon Joseph. Pierre said, send BK's Escalade. Now, was that an official Notre Dame vehicle? Because if it was, we should have taken that back, right?
Hey, Coach Kelly been there for 12 years. He got a lot of things that you're not gonna see again for a long time.
I'm just saying, if it is an official Notre Dame vehicle, we need that back. We need that back. But Marcus doesn't look like an Escalade guy to me.
Man, we gotta get him something fresh. I'm talking about one of them I8s, with a green one, with a.
He needs a truck though. He needs a truck.
Damn,
just for the family, he needs a truck.
So you need a bus.
Mrs. Freeman might be driving the truck, and we can get him the luxury sedan.
Yeah, we got whatever you want, man. Marcus Freeman, you go ahead and pick something out the lot. Make sure you get it 4-wheel drive.
For sure.
You know that 9 months of snow, it's not going to be pretty for no BMWs. You know what I mean?
Not the 9 months of snow. Ron Tuck, don't get why you want Houston back. He's always a step late. And the fact that he doesn't get it by now another year isn't going to change. That this is the same old stuff.
Ooh. Well,
we're not Alabama, so we just don't tell kids like we don't want you.
Yeah, we really ain't at the luxury right now for that.
And that's really his decision on whether or not he wants to come back. And at this point, we lack depth. That's what we talked about in the wrap-up show. We lack talent, top-tier talent, and depth.
Because the one thing you would love Houston Griffin to be on the team with is if we do get short on depth, you look back, we got Houston I didn't even remember because we got so much talent.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a lot of talent because the season gets long. Guys get hurt.
Yeah.
Think about our starting lineup against Florida State. It was not the starting lineup against Oklahoma State. It was a bunch of changes.
I'll let you have this one. This one is funny. Martin Phillips, appreciate you. You guys are making it out like Caleb Williams is Trevor Lawrence.
Is Tyler Buckner Trevor Lawrence? That's the question. If he is, then we shouldn't even be talking, right? I mean,
Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Brian Kelly ever produced at Notre Dame in 12 seasons.
Brian Kelly, if he had Caleb Williams, matter of fact, scratch that. Caleb Williams in that quarterback room would raise the competition of everybody in there because who is Tyler being pushed by at no quarterback room at all? Nobody. Tyler's way more talented than all the guys in there. So in terms of pushing to get better for the season, how is that gonna work? So I've never known us to not be a competitive team to where we're not competitive in position groups. So that's one reason. And the other reason is that nobody in this chat will say that Tyler's beating Alabama. I feel really confident to say that Caleb Williams is going to be in New York next year no matter where he's at. And those are the type of players that it takes to beat the one game that we need. It's only one game. If we were just trying to be good and this was a rebuild.
He was in the Heisman talk after his first 4 games.
That's what I'm saying. If this was a rebuild type of season, then yeah, and we're trying to just be 8 wins better than last year or something, then yeah, Tyler Buckner's a great fit. But if you think about it, Tyler and Caleb had some similar route. They didn't start right away. They got in here and there, but when they both got in, just different things happened from two different quarterbacks. Like just 2 different things totally transpired. One, we like, okay, one guy's got to grow and get kind of the swing of things. And another guy is like, shoot, where has he been since the beginning? And that's an eye test.
The other guy was like, get Spencer out of here.
Yeah. Other guy was, and Spencer was great.
Preseason Heisman candidate.
Preseason Heisman. Tyler Buckner couldn't start over a guy that was a fifth year guy that the starter there that he couldn't beat. We beat him by 40 points. So if Tyler Buckner's not, the staff doesn't believe in Tyler Buckner more than Jack Cohn, that tells you everything you need to know.
Hey, your boy, we love Demetrius Rex. We love him. But you bugging, dude. You're bugging. Just
how?
You're bugging. You can't. there's nothing you can base that upon. Nothing.
Yeah, that you can base it on.
Nothing you can base that upon. You're hoping. We all hope that shit.
I hope there was something that they just wasn't calling right, or he just wanted to get a full. I don't know, but I know that Caleb Williams is at the level of a Bryce Young, and Bryce Young is a Heisman winner. I mean, what are we saying here?
And it's like, look, man, let's be real. Let's keep it 1,000, right? You see the talent at quarterback, right? Let's say Bryce Young was at Tennessee. Bryce Young isn't in the championship game.
No.
Because
it just wouldn't be enough.
Wouldn't be enough. So this goes back to that Trevor Lawrence question. Once that defense, that great defense of Christian Wilkins, the three guys that went to the NFL in the first and second round, once that defense, that great defense, and what's the kid that plays for the Cardinals, the linebacker?
Isaiah Simmons.
Once he left, as great as Trevor Lawrence was, did he win another national championship? So,
and he had to do everything, to get back to playing Ohio State. I mean, it was nobody but them.
You had people in the chat. Well, he lost to this team. He lost to that team. He was in the Alamo Bowl. Yo, who cares?
That's Oklahoma. We're better than Oklahoma.
He's better than any quarterback on the current roster. Because we are talking about upgrading the roster, right?
That's it.
That's it.
So
if you see more talent, you see the same people in the chat are begging to go pick up a guy that's transferring from Michigan.
Yeah.
DB. You know why they're saying that? He's a transfer from Michigan, which means he wasn't getting picked
at Michigan.
But you want him at Notre Dame because you saw Clarence Lewis.
Keaton Slovis leaving. And
it's like, come on, man. You want more talent on the roster at Notre Dame. And Caleb Williams will be more talent.
Yeah, period. Nothing with nothing else. Has no other player involved. We just talk about going from a 89 to a 95.
And you were joking when you said he played in the toilet bowl. He played in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the Fiesta Bowl, yeah, I mean, come on.
Pierre, I think there it is. Look at this point. Since we're adding to the coaching staff, Freeman needs to take a hard look at getting a quarterback coach. And no, it's not happening.
Oh, you don't think it's going to happen?
No. That's one of the things I do know. Tommy's not.
He's not going to be cool with it. Not at all.
Tommy's not going to be cool with that quarterback coach.
Not at all.
Crystal Rose, thank you. I think you're a first time. This is the first time we've seen you. Maybe not. Slovis was a backup prospect and nothing more. If that's the case, then that was more disrespectful. Slovis is not going somewhere to be a backup. Why would you even call him to be a backup?
Yeah, he was just starting.
That's even crazier. That's even crazier. This kid is transferring from USC to go find.
Because he was a backup.
He's not coming in your school to back up somebody that's never started a game. But you're the first one to call him.
That's what I'm like. We're eager to call for backups now.
It doesn't make a difference how you come at this Keaton Slovis thing. There is no way to protect Notre Dame from looking crazy in that situation. That looked crazy. Crazy.
For Tyler Buckner, for our recruiting.
Assistants running down the hall. Yo, Keaton Slovis just hit the portal. Come on, man.
But we can't even call Caleb?
It's crazy.
So what do we think? What do we think of Tyler? What do we think of Keaton Slovis? He ain't even kill us in the game.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, we just played Keaton Slovis. Like, damn, the whole time you was probably plotting on him the whole time. Like, good grief.
Malik, that's like me calling you, like, yo, let's take a trip to Vegas right quick like you don't have an infant.
Yeah.
My kid is grown.
Yeah, you like, what's
So
the problem?
I can do what I want to do, but I hit you up just like I don't understand your situation.
You're like, what's slowing you down?
Yeah. Like you're gonna bring Junior on the trip. Like you can just do that. It's like there is you can't. I don't care if it was one phone call.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Crazy to call somebody that you know would have no interest in being a backup. They have none. Why are you calling them? And why are you thirsty being the first call?
That's what you call making excuses for bad decisions. That's what we got to get rid of. There's no more excuses for that.
That's a bad look. That's a worse look than calling Caleb.
Yeah, way worse than calling Caleb, because at least a guy like Tyler would be like, all right, well, damn, it's just competition. I get it, you know. Tyler's like, Keaton Slovis, I'm way better than him.
It's funny, man. It's funny. It's like that's what we're talking about. Notre Dame fans sometimes, man, we want to defend Notre Dame so bad. It's like
so bad that we just want the craziest takes.
We don't have to. Everybody in life makes questionable decisions. Notre Dame can make some as well. It's cool. We're still the best product in college football.
We still the best product. We just act like we're the worst product.
Still the best fan base. We love all of y'all. We can differ in opinion, but man, we don't have to get defensive. That was crazy. That whole Keaton Slovis, I'm in the middle of my workout. I had just pushed the button.
Like he was almost saying, like, can you believe these guys done called me and I was doing something? They thirsty for me.
Yo, I saw the preview for the new movie coming out. They were calling that dude stalking him like it was a Scream movie. Keaton, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I see you're on the workout bench. Come on, man. Like,
because what do we if that's the case, what is the conversation? Hey, I mean, we had to call you as soon as you got in just to tell you we want you to be a backup.
We want to be first call to let you know we really want you as a backup.
To a guy that's never started for real.
Come on, man. From all angles, that's just a really bad. The optics were just really bad. They're just really bad.
Yeah. For trying to meet the expectation of being one game better.
And you didn't think it would get out. You didn't think it would get out.
But your boys tapped into college football, man.
And that cat Keaton Slovis was like, nope, let me release.
Yeah, you know all the damn radio shows now. He gonna let it fly.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's see. Okay, you read this one, bro. Andres, what's up? Day one, we appreciate you. No way
you can tell me. Caleb Williams, TV, Pine in a QB room is better than TV, Pine, and Jelly, even if TV turns out way better. Yeah, it's just, man, listen. Tyler is very, very, very athletic. I think he's got really good dynamic ability. He can do more than what you would draw up on the chalkboard. Him and Caleb together, I think, is better than a good portion of a lot of quarterback rooms in college football.
Yeah.
So them two alone can make a room really competitive. We don't know anything about Angeli to even put him in that conversation, but I'm assuming that he's not better than Caleb or Tyler Buckner. I think him and Drew Pine might, fight it out or something, but I think Drew Pine would be a great mediator between having Caleb and a Tyler because it's more of a balance, So, yeah, I don't believe that a Jelly room and a non-Caleb room would be better.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Brian Mason comes over from Cincinnati to be the special teams coach. Hopefully he can get somebody back there that won't wave their hand 90% of the time.
Yo, yeah, it's like what we put a guy back there to not be a threat. I'm sure they was like, no, they ain't got to walk on that punt return. Who is this guy? Oh man.
Matt 2011 GT said, not sold on Tommy turnover, has that BK stain.
Being afraid of the hottest girl in school. That can't be us, man.
That was Notre Dame.
At least pass her a note and say, with the little check boxes, yes, no, maybe. You know,
or either you're scared or you're the jock that thinks everybody's supposed to come up to you.
I think that's more in line what it is.
And you're arrogant. And when that girl ignores you and then ends up with a regular dude, then you want to catch an attitude.
Yeah, like you real salty because she wanted the basketball player that's showing her love. You know what I mean?
Hey, what you trying to say about basketball players, bro?
Nah, basketball players, you know, they just a little different than
basketball
team
players score more than football players anyway in high school. What are you talking about?
See, you a basketball state.
Here we go, dude.
You a basketball state. Go down to California, Florida, Texas. You go to any Florida school in high school, they ain't showing no love, no basketball player. The last basketball player from Florida was Vince Carter. That was even relevant.
You just went to a school where the basketball was questionable. So that's it. That's all. That's all. That's all. You just went to a school where basketball was questionable. You know what I'm saying? Like you take a school like Florida. They were winning. But you had Joakim Noah down there. I guarantee you Joakim Noah did more damage than anybody on that football squad.
Man, cut it out. Wait a minute. What, that's the same year as Tim Tebow and Chris Leakey and them boys down there with Urban Meyer?
I hope it was.
Oh, you know that year.
Joakim Noah has some legendary stories,
my boy. Over no Florida football team. Bet
it. That's
a crazy time.
Bet it. The training is shorter. The training is shorter, and the season is shorter.
Listen, football players know how to move around, man. That's all.
All I'm saying,
Florida's not that big of a place either.
All I'm saying is, Joakim Noah was working with back-to-back national championships. That's all I'm saying. It's hard to go up against that.
Listen, I think it's at Notre Dame. I think football's winning. Let's be honest.
Well, at Notre Dame, I might rock with you on that. I might rock with you on that one.
Even though our basketball team been, sneaky good.
Raheem Pelham, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you so much. Not an overreaction from the Fiesta Bowl. The lack of elite talent at corner always shows itself big in games. Need upgrades in recruiting at cornerback. Well, I mean, we kind of knew that.
Look, recruiting.
Game, so we didn't need to see the Fiesta Bowl to know that.
Look, we were talking about that. Toledo.
And look at the lack of any DBs in that class.
Yeah. But, you got to give us some credit, too. Now, we did graduate a whole class of secondary into the NFL 2018-19. So that, maybe the lack of depth comes from us popping kids out to the league.
Well, I'm such a great coordinator. I'm going to get a mediocre quarterback to show you how amazing I am. Well, that was the goal of the former, was to make sure that they got the glory and not the players. It was not about the players. And
I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, throwing it 68 times with an average quarterback, that gives me a little of that BK as well. Because if we won that game, what do you think they would have talked about? Tommy Reese, totally different identity. Turn Jack Cohn into Tom Brady for the bowl game. 68, 70 passes, most ever in Notre Dame history. Oh, Tommy Reese is the GOAT. Come on. Tommy won that game.
We appreciate you. How do you explain that ND was the first to call Slovis but doesn't make a call to Caleb? I'll play devil's advocate for a second, right? The Slovis call came before they really got to see Tyler at practice for the bowl game. So for
listen
to me. Now, immediately after the Fiesta Bowl, Tommy Rees goes on with Brady Quinn and basically says, we're getting Tyler ready to lead this team. That sounds like Tyler is the guy.
He should be.
If they've been sold that Tyler is the guy, then maybe that's why they don't call Caleb. I'm just playing. I'm trying to say what's in his mind.
How much do you think Tyler could have gotten better after a full season in that little 15 practices for them to be like, you know what? He's got it. I couldn't imagine how many these practices must have been pretty damn amazing.
Could have been.
How many passes could he have thrown to convince the staff to not play him in the bowl game at all? And we threw it 68 times. We didn't give him no passes in a bowl game where he threw it 68 times because it is his team. That's not convincing. It's too many drop-offs in the story. If that's your guy, then 68 passes, he would at least got 5.
Man.
So now you going into the offseason with a quarterback that has thrown less than 20 passes all season?
Yeah.
And you saying that's your guy? I don't think that's your guy. Now, an example of your guy would be a Caleb Williams, but we knew Spencer Rattler was Lincoln Riley's guy. But Lincoln Riley had to come home and see them chickens roost, man. He's like, look, Caleb, I gotta let you play. That's an example of that being my guy too.
He's like, I cannot lose this Texas game.
No way. So get in there.
Yeah.
Now I understand if
Go ahead.
Cohen was doing great in the first half, but hey, everybody cools off. I've never seen a quarterback have anything better than a 50% completion percentage, throwing the ball 70 times a game. So at some point, we got to commit.
I got Lilo Galante. Shaun played trumpet in high school. First of all, don't get it twisted.
What?
You need to go check the archives of the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Tribune.
Oh, newspaper
for basketball and baseball. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
You're gonna have to put them clips.
Yeah, I'm not a nerd. It depends on analysis to talk about the game. And I wasn't just pulling them at Morgan Park. I was at Whitney Young, Hyde Park, Kenwood. I was everywhere with the Letterman jacket.
Hey, don't do that to him, chat, man.
No, don't play. You better learn about me in these Chicago streets. You better know. Had the 90s on lock.
Yeah, straight up. 90s best time in high school sports.
But see, our football team was horrible though. See, that was the thing. I think that was the thing. I think that's what it is. If you went to a school where the football squad was horrible, see, like Simeon,
they don't got no football team.
Basketball's definitely killing football.
Yeah, they don't got no football team at Simeon, do they?
Yeah, the football team is just not at the level of the basketball squad.
The question is, do they got turf?
Well, everybody on the south side plays at the same field.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say they ain't got no goddamn turf.
We have our own practice fields, which pretty much is the Park District, and then we play at the central field, which is Gately Stadium.
Okay, but Simeon got their own gym though, right?
They do. They have a Ben Wilson gym that's like immaculate. Oh yeah, yeah, and they got LeBron James logo on the front of the gym.
How?
Yeah. It's yo.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And Morgan Park was the same way as Simeon. It was all basketball.
Okay.
It was all basketball. So our football team got better. Matter of fact, after I left, we had a Demetrius. I think his name was Demetrius Robertson. He played. He played like he started 2 games at Notre Dame, the quarterback.
That's right.
He came from Morgan Park, and then he eventually transferred to Georgia Tech, I believe. Yeah, but yeah, we don't produce too much. Carlton Neal was a defensive end from Morgan Park who played for Tennessee in the late 90s, early 2000s. We had a couple of wide receivers that went to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But not a factory. Nothing like that. Not like your high school where, football was king.
Yeah, but it snow 9 months out of the year in Chicago. So what can you
Stop
really
saying that, man. Stop saying that, man.
I'm trying to give y'all some credit on the football.
Chicago,
Just not there
good.
yet.
You're good from April to October in Chicago. April to October. You might want to get you a nice home somewhere else.
That's funny.
For the rest of the year, but April to October, you're good. It's the best city in the world.
October is hot in a lot of places.
Through October, we had like an 80-degree day.
Yeah, October usually try to,
It was real nice up here. You see people laughing at us in the chat. Let's see. Slover's gonna room with Clarence Lewis. Come on, man. Matt is being real petty today.
Hey, Clarence might not have a room.
Real petty today. Real sports talk with Alex. Hey, Caleb, Coach Reed's calling you. Interested in being a backup? Tyler is our guy.
Yeah, come on. What are we talking about here?
Oh, man.
Hey, look, Notre Dame fans, we ain't calling nobody that we not interested in picking up. We not calling nobody to just sit on our team because that's what we got walk-ons for.
Let's see. Remember when BK made Tommy throw 68 times? Oh, man.
Yeah, Tommy was like, he didn't do it. That's why I'm doing it.
People saying Pine is the guy is why we'll never get elite quarterbacks. I mean, dude, look. Drew Pine is just that guy everybody loves on the squad.
Drew Pine wouldn't have been recruited by Alabama, wouldn't have been recruited by Georgia, wouldn't have been recruited by Ohio State or Clemson. So what I'm saying is that we're giving guys chances that wouldn't get chances no other place at the level of the school that we think we are.
Yeah.
Clemson ain't going out their way. Trevor Lawrence or Drew Pine. Cade Klubenek or Drew Pine.
Yeah.
So we're not even in the same area code as other schools in recruiting quarterbacks. We all the way in the forest. They in the city or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. Our girl D Beasy, day one. We appreciate you. Different question, but was Ben Wilson really that dude? It's going to sound really hyperbolic because I'm from Chicago, so automatically people are like, oh, you're from Chicago. People cried that day. I don't want to talk about – this will sum it up. I remember where I was. I remember being in the basement, watching it on the afternoon news. And when I tell you people that had no connection to the school or to him across the city cried, I'm talking about bawled. That lets you know how big he was in Chicago. The entire city was bawling, crying.
Yeah.
That's how cold he was. And the first time I saw him was at a pro-am. Because all of my uncles played for Westinghouse.
Did he have more hype than Derrick Rose, though?
Heck yeah.
More hype than Derrick Rose?
D Rose didn't pick up hype until like his junior season.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't like until his junior season. He was nowhere near.
Because Ben Wilson was tall too, right?
Ben Wilson was like 6'7".
Yeah, so that in high school, you definitely getting the attention.
6'7", 6'8" with handles. Ridiculous. He's ridiculous. And so the 89, he was supposed to be on the 89 squad in Champaign that lost to Michigan in the Final Four. So, like, Illinois fans are like, yo, if he was there,
there's no Fab Five in Michigan.
We killed the dude. They would have been the original Fab Five. So that's just to sum it up. Like, it's no need to even talk. Look, go watch the ESPN 30 for 30. The entire city. It wasn't just like Simeon students like crying. It was students all over the city. Because like I said, back in the day, It's not the same now. Like you didn't have the indoor facilities, you didn't have the AAU circuit the way it was back then.
Yeah, so basketball is more rare.
Because Nick Anderson went to Simeon, but Nick Anderson lived on the west side and went to Prosser. But because back in the day, your boy knew somebody, you call like, man, we hooping. You hop on the train, you go get on the train, go to the west side to hoop with your boy's friend. He becomes your friend.
Now y'all got a team.
You convince him to come to Simeon and transfer from Prosper. But in the summer, y'all still go to the west side to play in pro-ams against NBA players. And the pro-ams used to be outside at Columbus Park. So I remember as a kid being on my uncle's shoulders, watching Nick Anderson and watching Ben Wilson at a pro-am.
Wow.
That was the first time I saw him.
And I know the
I was
gym
like a shorty. You know? So yeah, He was huge. He was, man. He was huge. He was that dude.
Damn.
Robert Tidoff, did you know Arthur Agee and William Gates from Hoop Dreams? No. I didn't know them personally. I know people that did know them, but I didn't know them personally. But once again, those were guys that William Gates really didn't have buzz in the city. Okay. Can I keep it 1,000? If you play, it's still the same. If you're not a public league basketball player and you play in the suburbs of Chicago or you play for a suburban school, we don't respect you.
Like Vernon Hills?
Vernon Hills. He went to St. Joe's, right?
Oh, okay.
Catholic school in the suburbs. He's like, we didn't respect, like, dude, okay.
Even if he was nice.
But see, Isaiah Thomas went to St. Joe's, but Isaiah Thomas was like deep in the west, like he was west side.
Yeah, some roots
was too, but his legend wasn't as big as Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
You know, but it's like, yeah, we give Proviso East and Proviso West, they're right on the border of the west side of Chicago, so they produce a lot of hoopers like Sherelle Ford, Mike Finley, Donnie Boyce. So we respect them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Thornton out that's like on the southern edge of Chicago that produced Ty Streets in the NFL, Napoleon Harris in the NFL, Antoine Randall in the NFL, Eric Herring, and Melvin Eli. Like, that was their starting five, and they beat Kevin Garnett and Ronnie Fields.
Damn.
Downstate.
KG?
It took 5 of them to do it.
Yeah.
But like literally 5 professionals beat Ronnie Fields and Kevin Garnett by 2 points. That was like one of the greatest semifinals I've ever watched.
Damn.
Ever. Because who knew those 5 kids from Thornton would end up being professionals in the NBA and the NFL? Nobody knew that. And who knew that Antoine Randall was going to end up? He was a little point guard. It turned out to be one of the best Big Ten quarterbacks in Indiana. And one of the best receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
Pittsburgh Steelers, yeah, won a Super Bowl.
So, yeah, that's the talent in the Chicago area. But it's not the same because it's been a lot of migration to the South, you know, out of the state because of jobs and taxes. A lot of those kids and their families and later generations moved down to Texas and Atlanta and other states.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. See if we have any other questions, man, before we get to it. So when we bench Tyler, who are we playing?
See, you're not hearing what we saying now. We want Tyler, but we also want guys if they can be better or push Tyler, because that's what we would want for any other position.
Yeah. Hugh Kibbs, 97, day one. We appreciate you. I think we can all agree that the 23 defensive commits are lights out. My question is, when are the offensive commits going to come along?
Once we get a couple factors, we get a quarterback, or Marcus Freeman gets his hand in that bag real deep and pull out some blue faces for them guys to start.
And also,
or we beat Ohio State.
And also, that wide receiver coach is going to be very important. That's a very important hire. The wide receiver coach.
Most definitely.
Have to get that right.
Because you gotta hit kids on, are you gonna get me to the league, which happens a couple ways. Am I gonna play early?
Yep.
And am I gonna get developed by a great quarterback coach?
Yep.
Or am I gonna have somebody great throwing it to me? Because those are 3 ways that I know I can get to the league the fastest. Play early, a guy that's great throwing it to me, or a guy that's a great coach that's getting me right enough to get to the league. If you can get one of those 3, it can be all 3. I mean, you can see examples of it being all 3 at Ohio State, at Alabama, at even a Georgia in some cases. So those are the 3 factors it takes to get a receiver.
All right, let's go.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing. Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you. You don't? No.
What is today's petty historian?
Yep, each and every day, petty junction, petty story of the day. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put Marcus Freeman on the petty train today. That's right, you heard it. MF goes on the petty train because he finally jumped up to the big boy table and he's saying, "I can play it like you can play it. I can be petty just like you. I can talk to kids that are committed to you."
And that's a good step.
Yes.
Because if he wasn't petty enough to do that, we'll be in this eternal losing in the playoff cycle.
And he's also petty for going after coaches that are on staffs like Alabama, using his relationships to go and take what's rightfully his and what's rightfully ours as a fan base. We need great coaches. We deserve great coaches at Notre Dame. It's time for us to have great coaches. It's time.
And you know what? It's time because all the attention has been on one guy.
Absolutely.
Marcus Freeman is spreading love. He even let Tommy ride the PJ. And the pay scale is different. So, we're trying to spread the love, and it's going to help because now more guys are going to want to come.
You know what? We broke the news last night on our podcast. And, bro, I'm sorry. I know that's your guy, but I got to put Caleb Williams on the petty train, bro. He didn't have to say we didn't have a shot at all. But that's not why I'm putting him on the petty train. He said we're on the hit list, bro. Like what, dude? The old regime is gone. That wasn't us. That wasn't Marcus Freeman.
He said gone but not forgotten. He said I was probably waiting for that pot of gold to sit in my mailbox getting home. I thought I'd put up 400 yards on offense, and to come to find out that's not true. And y'all recruiting Jack Cohn? Oh yeah, I got a beat with y'all. So, damn.
Man, he doesn't have to do that, man. He doesn't have to put us on the hit list. He said he got Texas already. He said
I already got Texas. I said, oh man.
He's petty for that, bro. It wasn't bad enough that he said no. We don't have a shot. Then he goes and puts us on the hit list. So Marcus Freeman, Caleb Williams, we had to put them on the petty train today, man. But Marcus Freeman is a good petty, real good petty.
Hey, if petty is what wins, then I like it.
Nick Saban is definitely petty.
100%.
Like, it was reported he was talking to Jahmyr Gibbs halfway through the season at Georgia Tech. So it's like, it doesn't get any more pettier than that.
It doesn't. But the best thing about it is that Marcus Freeman is going to find his stride as a coach. Right now, He's just too much of a player. He's too humble, too open, too honest. He's going to get some edge to him where he might have to be sly, maybe here or there, and how he talks about the team, but it's all for the good benefit of us winning a championship.
So, Harry Heastan is official, signed. The announcement is coming. James Laurinaitis, official announcement coming. Foskey to make his decision on January the 8th, whether or not he goes or stays. We think not more than likely, he's staying.
Because he make an announcement for?
Yeah. Aaron Kearney, former director of recruiting. We appreciate all your efforts and everything you did for the university and the football program. As you said, he's a really good dude, and he's moving on from that position. And then Dale Alexander, we have reported, it was reported that he was told after the game, after Fiesta Bowl, that he will no longer be the coach at Notre Dame for wide receivers. Correct that. He was actually told before the game, and he informed the players before the game as well. I know there are a lot of people that are upset about that. They felt like that was out of character and not the right thing to do going into an important game. But either way, moving on to bigger and better things. And then Brian Mason is your new special teams coach at Notre Dame. Thanks, everybody. LL Nation, we support you, and we thank you for your support. We appreciate you. Don't forget, subscribe, share, like, hit the like button. We got 282 in the room watching today. Hit the like button. Matter of fact, we don't care if you hit the dislike button. Hit something. Let us know what you think about the Lucky Lefty podcast. Get in the comments. We respond to all comments as always. To LL Nation, have a great day. Spin it different. We are the Lucky Lefty podcast. Also available on Apple Podcasts. If you search A2S Network, you'll be able to listen to us on Apple Podcasts as well. For the original Lucky Lefty Malik Zaire, I'm Shaun Davis. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with more Notre Dame content. Have a great one.